Hello everyone, my name is Florencia Andrea and today I would like to talk about my career path and my interest in research software engineering. I was born in Argentina, a country in the south of Latin America. Currently I am not working in Argentina, but it has been my home until last year when I started a postdoc position at the University of British Columbia in Canada. In the next 10 minutes, my goal is to share my experience as an early career researcher. My experience doesn't necessarily exemplify what it is like to do science in Latin America, but I hope it can give you some familiarity with how a scientific career path is experienced from my place in the world. By the end of my talk, I hope you will understand why I am here today and why I support the RSE movement. To introduce myself, I am going to tell you that I have a bachelor's degree, a teaching degree, and a PhD in biology at the University of Buenos Aires. During my bachelor, I performed field studies and also worked in the lab. But it was in my PhD that I started programming more heavily, and not only because I needed to complete my thesis. Argentina's budget to finance science is noticeably lower than in other countries and is historically unstable. In this way, passing my research to the computational branch was not only linked to a vocational decision, but to obtain greater economic independence and reduce bureaucratic obstacles. In 2016, I completed a fellowship at the INRS, a research center in Canada. It was there where, after collaborating with other researchers, I realized how critical it was for me to incorporate programming as a fundamental part of my workflow, helping to produce good software as the final product of my research. But not only that, I also realized the benefit of my interaction with more experienced developers. I came back from that trip knowing that I needed to find a place in Argentina where I could exchange knowledge and get support to learn these issues. That is where I found the second meetup of Our Ladies Buenos Aires, a community that I later joined as an organizer of the local chapter and later still as part of the global team. This community allowed me to develop many soft skills and meet people from all over the world. And most importantly, they gave me support to develop my programming skills. From Our Ladies was born the Latin Art Conference, of which I was part of the organizing committee and was also chair in the 2020 edition. Through Our Ladies, I also got to know the Carpentries, a community that teaches foundational coding and data science skills to researchers worldwide. I became certified as an instructor with them and translated some of their material to Spanish. Thanks to the Carpentries Slack, I found out about the work that Anna Cristalli was doing with ReproHack, the computational reproducibility hackathons. I thought it was an excellent idea and collaborated on that project for some years. I believe that software development and databases producing research deserve the same level of recognition and quality as scientific articles, and I think projects such as ReproHack and the Carpentries provide researchers with the skills to make that a reality. I helped to organize the first ReproHack in Spanish that happened during Latinar 2020. During these years, I also participated in conferences, completed certifications, and published my code in specific journals. In addition, I was the first doctoral student to teach an art workshop at the local chapter of the Society of Environmental Toxicology and Chemistry, known as CETAC, in the Argentinian chapter. Although in other countries it's very common for PhD students to teach pre-conference workshops, it was the first time that this happens in the Argentine chapter. Among communities that are closer to the research software interface, RSC is one that most inquires about the role of researchers as software developers. That is why in 2020 I collaborated by translating the RSE survey into Spanish, which was carried out this year. The aim of the RSE survey is to understand how the rich software engineer community is made up worldwide. Since the pandemic, it is easier to get access to quality information and training. Events and workshops that used to take place mostly in some countries can now be accessed online from anywhere in the world. This has been a great benefit, since it is not always easy to find good training offers in our region. Although this may seem like a democratization of the information, I have come across technology training offers that do not contemplate diversity. Some time ago, I asked the instructors of a particular technology about the lack of women and minorities in the staff and among the students of their workshops. Their official answer was someday they would have enough knowledge to be interested in our courses. It seems important to me to emphasize that ignoring gender imbalance or differences in access to knowledge is a way of reproducing these inequalities. Creating safe environments for diversity should be a minimum requirement in all spaces where technical training is offered. Being able to access technical knowledge was key to grow in my career. Being a postdoc, I was wondering how to continue when the pandemic arrived in 2020. I felt that I needed a position where I could be fully dedicated to programming. Since July of last year, I have been working as a postdoc in the Master of Data Science at the University of British Columbia. There, I combine my passion for teaching, programming, software development, and data science. To end this talk, I want to underline some important points. Researchers of the region could benefit from career opportunities that facilitate training in areas related to data science or software development, in particular because of the resource deficits that may obstruct progress in other areas, such as experimental research. Networking and interaction with like-minded people in different communities was key to helping me find the important technical resources I needed during my PhD. And there is certainly something to be said for how much information online and access to resources have become more democratic as an unexpected function of the pandemic. But it is important that the places that provide capabilities and instruction about these areas have an approach that prioritizes diversity to minimize bias and barriers associated with inequity. While some barriers have been eliminated with the pandemic, many barriers remain firmly in place due to an ongoing lack of diversity and ineffectual planning as how to link it to inclusion. In conclusion, that is why I think the initiatives of this workshop play a key part in actualizing important diversity, equity, and inclusion goals in the short and long term. That is why I am pleased to be speaking with all of you today. Thank you so much.